Shana Ackles with Growth Word Consulting, and I'm joined today with Sherry Mulhaney, one of our consultants and coaches, and one of her fairly new clients, McKenzie Zapirian, who is in Alaska, solo agent in Alaska. McKenzie, I'm just going to go briefly with what I know and then ask you some questions. You've been licensed for just about 4 years. So just prior to the market we're all seeing now, you kind of rode the wave of the easy market, if you will. You started on a team and then chose about a year ago to go solo.
Yes, that is correct.
I think you contacted us maybe 6-7 months ago, right at the beginning of the change in the market to start to work with us. So I want to start, actually, let's just jump back really quickly. Tell me why real estate. I always like to start with that question. Why real estate?
So why real estate? The biggest thing for me is I was in the dental field for quite a while, decided it wasn't something that I wanted to pursue. And I didn't really know what I was going to do, but I knew that I had this passion for houses. And so I decided, this is the time. This is time to jump into it, see what it's all about. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But at least I tried it, and it's been amazing.
Awesome. Okay, you started on a team, chose to go solo. Tell me what took you there.
So the reason to go solo, or okay, so the reason to go solo was
big, especially like you made that choice right when the market was getting a little bit hairy.
Yeah, definitely. So I it was more of like a financial situation for my family to be able to not deal with splits or anything like that, and just to build my own brand. It's something that I've wanted to do since I got into real estate, and to build myself and my company and my brand to get to a point to help other people. And so I just decided this is the time. I have the knowledge to do it as of right now. And I mean, with real estate, you're learning something new every day. But I knew that I was ready at that point. It was absolutely scary, but I knew that it was time to branch out on my own and start it up.
Cool. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. So you did it.
You
did it. One of the first things you did was hire a coach. I want to get back to that, but tell me what's happening. Tell me what's happened in your world in business, personal, combination of both, whatever you like.
Yeah. So, to start with business, I'm on track to double my business this year, which is absolutely amazing. I shouldn't say I didn't expect it, but I also didn't expect it.
When you say double your business, how many transactions is that? Because to some people that's 3 transactions, right?
Yeah,
4.
that's very true.
Right?
So, yeah, absolutely. It's very different for everybody. So my goal this year is helping 40 families, and I am about 6 away from meeting that. So I'm hoping to go over that goal this year. So yeah, that's been absolutely amazing.
I'm so proud of you. That's awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
He's worked hard for it. Smart. So I shouldn't say, yes, hard, but also very smart. He's worked very strategic.
Yeah. I do have to say I couldn't have done that without Sherry, though.
Yeah. So let's talk about that a little bit. Tell me about, I'm just going to call it what it is. We're in a world where people are not making as much money. They're working very hard. It's a grind. It's been a grind this last year. And a lot of people look at coaching as an expense that they can cut. They're cutting expenses. They're looking at, $1,000, $1,200 going out the door every month, and they're wiping that expense. They view it as an expense. What's made you choose to hold that investment above all else?
That's actually a really good question. My biggest thing is I know that coaching is going to benefit me. I know that the information that I'm going to receive from Sherry is going to help me in my business. So I personally don't see it as an expense. I see it as something that's going to really build my business. So it's just a part of what I need to do to get to where I want to be. So I don't see, taking that out of the expenses of my business, because there's really no reason to. I know that it's going to help me get to the milestones that I want to achieve.
Well, and it has, right?
It has. It really has.
If you were to say I'm closing 20 transactions, I'd be like, that's nice. But the fact that less than a year in as a solo agent, you're closing 40 transactions and probably going to beat that. Like that's pretty fantastic.
I do agree.
Tell me, and I'm gonna ask the two of you each question. Sherry, I'm gonna jump to you actually. Tell me what maybe the biggest challenge you guys have overcome together is in his coaching? What's the biggest challenge you guys have gotten to overcome?
I can tell you that we haven't had too many challenges. I think the biggest challenges that I run into with coaching clients is the mental block that they don't do the things they say they're going to do them and they don't do them. So then they don't get the results. And then all of a sudden we have a problem, right? McKenzie's done virtually everything that we set week to week to week. He is literally, we've set the goals, he's achieved the goals. We set the goals, he's achieved the goals, and the results have come. So I don't know, I mean, maybe you think differently, McKenzie, but I don't feel like we've had that many obstacles. We've brainstormed, we've talked about market conditions, we've talked about how to skirt them, what are the things we should try. And he does everything he says he's going to do, and the results come. It's been magical.
I do
feel
agree.
different? Yeah.
I agree 100%. No, I, from the beginning of getting into real estate, I met Sherry, I think early on, and I've always looked up to her because I mean, she's just an amazing woman as it is, but in real estate, she was somebody that I looked up to. So to be able to get coaching from her, going into it, I was talking with my husband, Dane. I was like, I think it's time for me to get into coaching, and Sherry just started it. She's somebody I look up to. I want to know what she did to build such a big business for herself. And so getting into coaching and the things that she's telling me, I've ran with it because I'm like, it worked for her. It'll work for me as long as I follow that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So what's your, if I gave you two things, just totally, sorry, we didn't talk about any of this, but I'm just following it. If I gave you two things and said, you can only do two things in your business for the next 18 months, what would they be?
So would that be leaning towards like lead generating or? Okay. So one would absolutely be following up with my sphere, keeping in contact with them. That has been the biggest piece to growing my business, is keeping in contact with my sphere. The second one would be open houses. That's how I built my sphere to begin with, was open houses. And so I would continue to do that.
Love it.
It's good. And I will say that one of the secrets to McKenzie's success is he does not let the urgent outweigh the important, right? Like, he makes sure he keeps that lead generation time. Maybe it shifts sometimes, right? Maybe it's not a set 2 to 9 to 11 or whatever, but it gets done. And like you said, he stays in his sphere and his database, and he nurtures the heck out of it. And, bombs are coming and he's just shielding it, right? He's built a bunker for the bombs and he's done the work, and then he handles the bombs that are coming in. And that's been, I think, huge for him.
Yeah.
So tell me, I always have to dig into it because me, everything happens, all of our growth is a result of our personal growth. What's your biggest, what do you think your biggest growth in your personal world been throughout this 1 year, 4 years entrepreneurial world? From dental to entrepreneurial?
That's a really good question. I think the biggest thing is, when I first got into real estate, I knew that I needed to go 110 miles an hour to be able to get to where I wanted to be, not in the blink of an eye, but as fast as I possibly could, to support my family, to support the things that I wanted to do throughout my life. So I knew that I needed to go 110 miles an hour. While doing that, I actually did a really bad job at the work and personal life balance. And so since, and I don't even think it has anything to go with going solo, but coaching and just having things, I guess, fall into place and being able to, talk with my sphere and all of these different things, I've been able to really, dial into that work-life balance and kind of cut it out when I need to. So I have, better relationships with my friends, and my clients have turned into friends. So that's been amazing. I have, I make time for family and all these different things. So I think that's the biggest thing for me, because my family and my friends are everything. So to be able to build a business that allows you to have the free time to do that, I think that's the most important piece for me.
Right. I love it. Or at least to notice when you're not in balance, like know what it feels like and know that's huge.
Yeah. And it definitely still happens to this day. I mean, it just happened last week. I was working way too much. I was talking with Sherry. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm still staring at my phone after 7 p.m. And I don't want to do that, because that's my time to be at home and be present. And so, we made a game plan, and it's been awesome. It's working. Yeah.
I love it. In this specific phase of our market, more so than ever, like that's the biggest challenge and the coolest thing that you've overcome it. And
Yes.
still getting there. Like, I think it gives people a way to go, okay, it's possible. Okay, it's possible.
Yeah,
It is
if you can hit
possible.
40 transactions and have a life as a single agent, and mind you, as a transaction coordinator, he doesn't have an assistant.
Yeah.
So he's still, I mean, achieving this without barking orders at somebody. That was, my game plan, right? Like, do this, do that, get this done. Like, he's doing all that. And he's still achieving and still making time because he's following a calendar and a schedule.
Mhm.
Huge.
Okay, so you two, what's next? What's next in McKenzie's world after we crush 40 transactions this year?
Well, I mean, doubled it this year. Why not next year, right? Probably, right?
I haven't really thought about it. Honestly, I've been so focused on just getting to that 40 and, hopefully getting over it. But I mean, yeah, it would be amazing to double it next year. I don't know what that would look like. I would definitely probably need an assistant at that point so that I'm not running around like a chicken with my head cut off. But
And that's,
yeah, it'd be amazing.
we have goal planning in the third quarter, right? So that's all the things that we get to talk about, whether we double it or 50% it or whatever, I mean, we get to paint the picture, right? What do you want your life to look like, right? And I mean,
Right.
Or keep it the same and just bring more time into your world, right?
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's definitely options. And that's the biggest thing that I like about real estate is you can go crazy and do as much as you want, or you can cut it back when you need to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Has a tendency to create a life of its own, and you have to make sure that you can maintain that and or stay in control of it or start to leverage when it starts to grow, right?
Right, exactly.
Perfect. Yeah, no, Mackenzie's been a treat for sure.
I love it. Okay.
I almost started to cry when you were talking about how you have your balance in your life, and it's just like, because that's what the goal is, right? That's what we that's what we try to have.
Yeah. And I want to thank you, McKenzie, for your time and for sharing your story, because I think testimonials are great in any business. It's telling our story is one thing that every single business owner struggles to do. And so I love that you make that easy for us. But I also think the reality is having that person out there saying, yes, you can hustle. Yes, it does work. No, it's not easy. Right. And I'm willing to step up to the plate and invest in what it takes to get there.
Yeah.
I think
extremely important.
So many people in our industry need to hear this right now. They need that encouragement. They need that, that person that's like, yeah, it can be messy and it can also be done and it can be fun. Look at how happy you are.
Exactly.
You're so happy and relaxed.
Yeah, I'm way different from when I was last year. That's for sure. We've the goals that have been achieved, and personally, I mean, we're in contract on another house, so that's been amazing. That was one of the biggest things that we wanted to make happen this year, and we were able to do it. Yeah, it's been an amazing year. So
it's wealth building, it's buying, and we didn't touch on that, but you did. Yeah. So we'll talk about your personal world, like buying a new house, turning your existing place into an investment, buying a new house, doing what you teach people to do. Exactly. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's been amazing. I don't know how else to explain it.
We talk about how money is good for the good that money can do, right? So we work for what? Well, for this, right? To build a future.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's, I mean, I feel like everybody in real estate knows how the last 2 years have been. I mean, we've been running around like crazy, working 24/7. So to now, hit that goal of purchasing a new property, it feels like all of that work really pays off. And as helping my clients get into houses helps me makes it feel like it pays off. But being able to do that for myself is like another level as well.
Well, and we also get to have the empathy for our clients, right? We get to understand that the pros and the cons. I mean, you were in contract in another property, that didn't happen. Then you found the house of your dreams, right? Or, and so we get to have a little bit of empathy. I think every agent should buy a home at least every couple of years or sell one. So we know the pain and suffering that our clients go through, right?
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm going to thank you. We don't want to take too much of people's time. But I thank you both. And McKenzie, can we have you back at the end of the year to celebrate whatever number of transactions it is and hear about what's coming up?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Okay. All right. Thank you both.
Love you.
And we'll see you soon.
All right.
Sounds
bye.
good.
Bye.